Support WrestleTalk!
Donate on Patreon.
Hello and welcome to WrestleRamble. This is Luke Owen, I'm Ollie Davis, and today we're talking about the Hype Bros breaking up, the Ascension dying, which NXT call-up faction is better, and, of course, Matt Hardy seemingly going broken. If you want to go straight to any of those discussions, click the timestamps in the video description below, or stick right here for some great balls of botch. How you doing, Luke?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. It's been quite the week for me. I've started watching The Walking Dead from Season 1, Episode 1.
Yes, everyone looks so young, so I'm a Walking Dead veteran. I liked it before it was cool. But back when it was a comic book series. And yeah, it's fun to rewatch a few episodes out the corner of my eye.
Yes, because I've been having it on while eating lunch. Although you're a bit amazed that I was watching it while eating lunch.
Yeah, I could never do that. It's a particularly gross show.
It's quite gruesome, yeah. But I found that the only time I have been watching it is when I'm eating.
That's not the only pop culture thing that's on our minds outside of wrestling, because we're going to be stopping this recording intermittently because the Avengers Infinity War trailer is about to be uploaded, be released. Some people would say dropped, and I hate those people.
I used it, yeah, really.
Yeah,
I used it earlier.
I don't like when stuff drops. I think it's just not a phrase that I enjoy.
Oh, well, fair enough.
I'm an old curmudgeon.
Well, so literally at the time we were recording this, Good Morning America are about to play the trailer, and we were sat there, we were refreshing Twitter, waiting for them to post it, and then we were like, yeah, we can't delay this record any longer. We do need to go in and get it started. So, yeah. Maybe once we finish doing this segment, before we do Raw, we'll go and have a quick check.
But the real most important thing is the result of Monday's fantasy booking warfare of Pete Dunne. It was all in.
All in, Justice League. Yeah. All on the line. The all or nothing votes. This is what it all boiled down to. Was Ollie Davis going to win 5-0, a clean sweep of the month? Or was he going to completely bollocks it all up and throw away a 4-0 lead?
I won.
You won, absolutely.
I won. 56% of the vote to 44%.
It was
very close.
It was tighter than it's been in some time.
That's what she said.
Absolutely. But, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm surprised in two senses. Numero uno, I thought people were just going to vote for mine because they wanted to see you lose.
I was worried about that too.
Yep, that was my first thought. And two, I genuinely thought there was going to be more blowback to you booking British Strong Style than actually following the brief.
That was the major bit of criticism on mine, and the fact that it was so long.
It was 23 minutes long.
So we've taken that feedback on board. We will be imposing time limits on the fantasy bookings from now on, because I didn't realize how long it was until you text me. That was 22 minutes when you did the edit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll scale that back. But yeah, I do stand by, because you can debut someone
as part of a group.
And I think that's the most effective way to do it.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that people have picked us apart for our fantasy booking for much more minor things than that. In fact, actually, the only bit of criticism I got back from mine was that the build for Roman versus Pete Dunne at WrestleMania was only 2 weeks.
Fair build. Yep. Or, yours could have been longer than 7 minutes then, if you paid more attention to that.
Absolutely, yeah. And the other thing was that everyone seemed to get really hung up on the fact that my feud was, you're just feuding in with Enzo. I was like, well, no, I'm using Enzo as a stepping stone to get him into the higher rankings.
So we're going to check once more if the Avengers Infinity War trailer is up, and if it isn't, we'll be right back with the Raw review.
Haha, it's a Raw review, looking jacked, man!
It's still not up. The Infinity War trailer is still not up. We're going to do the Raw review.
Yep, I mean,
this might be a speedier Raw review than usual, so we can get through it. So Roman Reigns came out, then Seth Rollins beat Cesaro. Just do a quick play-by-play. Yeah, so the show started with Roman Reigns coming out, and as he came out, his music got a cheer from the crowd, and I thought, Jacksonville, we're in for a good crowd tonight. That stopped after
they were hot for Roman and Strowman and Kane because he's mayor.
Not yet. He's running for mayor.
But that pretty much was the extent of the people that were really over tonight. But Roman Reigns is one of them. And, he came out, I thought it was a bit of a mixed reaction, but They did get the "you deserved it" chance, so there you go. And there was I actually think that the crowd were really into Roman. There was definitely that "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" vibe about it, but the Cena sucks side of it was much lesser than the "Let's go Cena" side.
It was half-hearted. I felt the booing of Reigns was just like, boo, Roman. We're begrudgingly starting to like you because of some very effective booking and a Shield reunion and that great match you had with Miz last week. Whereas the people who always like Roman now even like Roman even more. And it was a much more high pitched. So kids and women, because it was like, yeah, Roman, and that's where you could tell the baritone was missing from the cheers.
Yes,
but yeah, it's whatever they're doing is working slowly.
Yeah, the booing was essentially, I suppose we have to do this because I feel like if we don't, then we're not smarky enough, so we better boo now.
Yeah, and then Michael Cole said, not only is Roman Reigns adored by fans, he is responsible for the most liked Instagram photo ever. And they show a picture of Roman Reigns with these freshly won Intercontinental.
Yeah, his Intercontinental title.
Yeah, over his shoulder. Nearly 500,000 likes on Instagram.
Yep.
If anyone else did that, they wouldn't put it up. Or they did with Charlotte the following night, which only had a paltry 100,000.
Oh God, what was the point of even putting it up? I really wish WWE would stop measuring success via social media metrics, because if they stopped doing that, Jinder wouldn't have been champion for all of 2017.
Yeah, and bots are a thing that really shove those off kilter. Plus, there's a very big difference from clicking a button, which anyone can do very easily, and liking something enough to hand over your money, which is what the WWE Network, that's the cash cow, that's what you want to push. So, yeah, you should be concentrating on WWE Network or pay-per-view numbers or TV ratings rather than the social media that they become so obsessed with.
Yes, because social media accounts for nout. It doesn't actually create money.
Yeah. So Roman Reigns came out. He cut a promo. It was there. There was nothing special about it.
Yep.
And he challenged everyone. He made a very similar kind of challenge. It was along the lines of step up, which is a bit like John Cena's "Come Get Some."
I was literally waiting for him to say, "If you want some, come get some." But it was like, "If you want some, step up."
So they're running the same open challenge gimmick that was so good for Cena in the 2014 period of his career, I think. Could be 2015.
Good shout. Maybe 2015.
I don't know. And that really helped get Cena over to the more cynical fan base like us, because I hated Cena beforehand, and now I really quite respect him. Or maybe that was me growing up. Who knows? Did I change, or did Cena's presentation? And, so they're doing that with Reigns. His first challenger, the Miz Taraj walk out. They're like, it's not us. Another drum roll. It's Elias. What were your thoughts when he came out?
Well, I thought it was going to be Jason Jordan, because that's what they were building all day on WWE.com and on Twitter and stuff, that Jason Jordan was going to accept the challenge. And then, nope, it's Elias Sampson instead. So I was like, okay. Clearly a last-minute change.
And Samoa Joe challenged him the previous night at the house show. But that obviously played into what happened later.
Yeah.
No Finn Balor. I thought Finn Balor would be a really good first.
You've got to save him, haven't you, to get beaten by Kane?
Yes.
That's what Balor's role is now.
Yes, sorry. I forgot Kane was on the show.
Exactly.
You've got to make Kane look strong to make Strowman look strong.
Yeah.
Which is good. But then there's that bit as well. It's like that's a really bad detour to get to here.
It does feel like with the Balor stuff, it's just like, hey, mate, you do realise that you're not the actual demon, though, right? That's the demon Kane. He's the proper demon.
Oh, yes. He's big. He's so tall.
He's been here for 35 years.
Yeah.
It's got to be him.
It's got to be Kane.
It's got to be Kane.
So this was good-ish. I think people were expecting more, but I quite like Elias. I like this as a first open challenge.
Yeah.
Brings Elias up. It shows that it's open to anyone, so that works well. And I really enjoyed the Miz Taraj. I thought they were spectacular working with Miz as an act, And now they were allowed to come out of their shells a little bit more without the Miz overshadowing them.
So are they a trio now? Are we going to see the Samson Araj alongside Elias?
I hope not. I'd be content with Axel and Dallas to keep doing their Miz Taraj as a tag team. Use them as a tag team. It's good that they're still there and they just haven't been dropped from TV.
Yeah.
As soon as the Miz goes, because I think they are good together. I'm a big fan of both of them individually, and I think they've done well together.
Yeah.
So that was made the match for later on in the night, and really solidifying the sort of Shield theme of the show, or how Raw has been in recent weeks. Reigns walked out, and Rollins' music hit, and they sort of had a moment where they hugged and they fist bumped, and then Reigns walked out for his match against Cesaro. I would have preferred just a little fist bump, a bit more badass, but they stopped, they talked. I was like, this isn't a meeting place, it's a ramp.
It's not a social gathering, mate.
Yeah, and like you can hear each other over this really loud music.
How sad were you that Kevin Dunn played the wrong music and there was no Burn It Down in Seth Rollins' entrance?
Oh, was that so? I missed that.
Yeah. It was the old Seth Rollins entrance where it just drops to silence so you can't hear a crowd reaction. Well,
hopefully next. That means they're going to bring up the...
Ooh!
I'm not going to do it. One day. I haven't done that for months. So, Seth Rollins came out for a match against Cesaro.
Which we did say was going to happen last week. Although, actually, I think I said it in a jokey manner.
No, I always knew this was going to happen.
Yeah?
Yeah, so Dean Ambrose versus Sheamus last week.
I guess I had faith.
No. Yep, and then, of course, next week... we're going to get a tag team title match between the two teams. So this was a really good match. It was a really solid TV match. Went through 2 commercial breaks. It was long. They got time. There was some fantastic strength spots from Cesaro, just deadlifting people up. And I really liked Rollins' counter game as well. Like, just when I thought Cesaro had it, Seth would counter something, and then he'd get the babyface heat going.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, pretty much. And someone actually said to me on Twitter the other day that it's the longest. They feel like it's the longest running feud in WWE at the moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think it's been going for that long, but it's been going since SummerSlam.
Pre-SummerSlam, yeah.
Yeah, pre-SummerSlam. So it is quite a long time. Some great stuff from Booker T in this match. Michael Cole asked him if, because Dean Ambrose won last week, if a Seth Rollins victory here could put the Shield back in contention for the tag team titles. And Booker said no, because this is a singles match and it's got nothing to do with tag teams. And then they were like, no, because the storyline we're telling for this match is that Seth is going to win and then they're going to challenge for the tag team titles. So that's not what you say. You're meant to say yes. But then Booker T was just like, no, when I was a tag team, we also had singles runs, but when we wanted to go for the tag team titles, we worked together as a tag team. That's what tag teams do. And at one point, Booker just went, just move on.
Really?
Yeah, just move on. He'd made his point. It wasn't the point they wanted to make. They started to argue. Just move on.
Just like, guys, I'm saying what I'm seeing in the ring. There's only 2 guys in there. This isn't a tag match. Why are we talking about tag matches, guys? There aren't even 2 guys at ringside.
Because one's on his honeymoon.
Yeah, so that was weird, wasn't it? So after the match, which Seth won, so they do have the claim for the tag team title rematch, he said that the generic interviewer asked him, are you okay? Are the Shield all right? Because Roman's doing his Intercontinental title thing. Dean isn't here. And then Seth sort of did some goofy comedy.
He was wacky Seth.
Yeah, about, I don't know, I should check on Dean. No, but seriously, guys, he's on his honeymoon.
Yeah.
Which Michael Cole filled in the gaps there.
He certainly did, yeah. I actually wrote down in my notes here, Ambrose on honeymoon, ?
Yeah, because they got married months ago.
Well, I was like, when did they get married? And it was only until I got to the studio, I was like, oh yeah, ages ago. To Renee. Yeah, now I remember.
So that was probably why we had generic interviewer mania this week. There was no Renee Young on this show. It's all your favourites. It's number 2, number 3, and Dasha Fuentes.
Dasha.
Charlie Caruso.
Charlie Caruso is the only other one I can name. Yeah. Dasha is a name I know, but I'm not sure I could pick her out of a lineup.
No. I think she's the Smackdown one.
Yeah, well, someone sent me a picture today saying, like, is this generic interviewer number 5? Is this a new one? I was like, I think she's there most weeks.
Do you think if a lady tries out for an interviewing job at WWE and she's 5'5", they're like, no, sorry, this is not going to work for us height-wise. You've got to be like 5'2" or below.
Well, the problem with your theory there is that suggests that these people are actual people and they're auditioning for these roles, as opposed to just being genetically created, like Michael Cole was in the late 90s. He was like their first experiment in creating a commentator. And it's worked out pretty well for them so far. He's still functioning.
There's genetically created or programmed. I don't know. You could use either. Because Michael Cole was a normal person at one point. I think.
Do you reckon?
He was.
I'm not sure he was.
Yeah,
he
had like a beard.
But even in 1998, he still felt like he
robotic,
was. Yeah. There was an interesting line from Corey Graves when Seth Rollins hit his high knee. When he said, "Pull the trigger," as in V trigger.
Corey likes those little bits, doesn't he?
He certainly does.
Because he said something about this matchup is too sweet in the Balor AJ thing.
Oh yes,
it was something along the lines. Paraphrasing.
Well, it's not as bad as Michael Cole. Things are about to get broken around here.
Is he undergoing some form of breakdown? Subtle. Nice. So this was kind of weird. Because when WWE say, oh yeah, Dean's on his holiday and Sheamus is on his annual sabbatical, I thought, what, like, is he studying? Has he gone over to Ireland to do Irish mythology?
It was pre-booked holiday. He'd booked it before they won the tag title, so
they
unfortunately you have to honour that holiday that you've pre-booked.
Why didn't he do that at the European tour? I was just like, I hear this and I think they're getting released. That's my immediate knee-jerk reaction.
No.
Of course they're not.
No.
The names are too big.
No, they got Dana to get rid of first.
Yeah, and the Singh brothers. Because when Tom Phillips was away on assignment, he was on his honeymoon.
Yeah.
I guess maybe Tom Phillips has a more public sexual deviancy record,
doesn't he? Yeah.
So
likes planes.
Yeah, this was fine. We've already said.
Anyways, backstage, Angle is with the cruiserweights. They're all stood in a line, like the SmackDown women. They're all stood in a line, and Kurt Angle has the great line where he says that because the cruiserweights are talking about the Zoe train, and Kurt Angle just says, "What's a Zoe train?" And my first thought was, you're the GM of this show. You're meant to know what's going on. Why don't you know what the Zoe Train is? It's a heel group of cruiserweights that are beating up, essentially, the other half of the cruiserweight division, because you've only got 10 lads.
Yeah, that was really bad. It sort of buried that act. It buried the division.
Yep.
It made it seem like the 205 Live roster are completely beneath and insignificant to the guy who runs the show.
Yeah.
Everything you said. It seems like Daniel Bryan is the only credible authority figure on either brand, with Shane McMahon just going away last week, midway through the show. Bad stuff. Shane McMahon's bad authority figure. Kurt Angle, I think we can all agree, is a bad authority figure as well. Stephanie McMahon is an annoying authority figure.
Yep. But she's the only one who's ever right.
Yeah. Well, Brian's right. Brian's really credible. It's just all bad stuff. And I just got the distinct sense of Angle and all these people who are shorter than him, like Kurt was Santa Kurt, and these were, oh, can we have a match, please, Kurt? Kurt? What do you guys want, elves? I was like, guys, can we? Enzo's bullying us.
Well, essentially, and then to further your Santa Claus theory, like a mall Santa, he then has to reach into his bag and just pull out the first present that's on top of it, really. And the first thing that came out was just like, a fatal four-way. What's the next one? It's another fatal four-way. What's the next one? A singles match. There we go. There's your next 3 matches.
So Kurt made a 4-way for this week, a 4-way for next week. The 2 winners of those will face each other for the number 1 contender rights. I assume for Rumble or maybe on a Raw episode.
Probably on 205.
This is exactly how the Universal Championship was first decided. It was 2 4-ways, which resulted in Balor versus Reigns.
That's right.
It's a weird way to go about it. Why not just do a tournament?
Yeah.
And then and run that over several weeks, make the division mean something. You've got previous with the Cruiserweight Classic. Oy vey.
Oy vey.
So, do you want to take on this next bit? Because you are the only person who has strong opinions on this.
I'm very much in the minority of this, but I felt that Samoa Joe beating Titus O'Neil was not the best booking of Joe.
Because Titus should have won.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly because, like, I appreciate I'm totally in the minority on this one. I know you didn't feel this way. I know the other reviews that I've read and listened to don't feel this way. People who have spoken to me on Twitter do not feel this way. So I appreciate that this is just me. However, when I was watching this, I was like, man, Titus is getting a lot of offense in on this match. And Joe beats him in 2 minutes, fair enough. But I'm like, yeah, but he barely got that victory. The only reason he got that victory is because the referee was pulling Titus away and Joe got a cheap shot in and then locked in the Coquina clutch and won. I feel that if he hadn't got that cheap shot in, Titus probably could have actually won the match and run over him a little bit. Okay, it's fine if you want to have Joe beat someone but have a credible match against. Don't have Titus O'Neil then, because Titus O'Neil has zero credibility. Absolutely nothing. He is a perennial jobber. He is Kurt Hawkins. He may as well be Kurt Hawkins on the card. They've got the same win-loss record. So I just feel that Titus getting too much offense in on Joe was bad for Joe's credibility, especially considering the angle you shot later in the night.
I couldn't be further apart. I watched this and I was like, I'm into Titus. Joe's awesome.
Why are you into Titus?
Right, okay, I'll explain. Because, and this kind of runs contrary to what I've said in the past, that I really don't like the idea of trying to protect someone in defeat by giving them 90% of the match and then they lose in one move at the end, so neither guy gets over. However, here, I really got the sense of the story that Titus Worldwide has sort of been abused and thrown around by Samoa Joe since his return, which is what's happened, and Titus O'Neil finally gets a chance to take it to Joe, and he is fired up. He is really angry, so he's just, he's a big guy, and he has a big guy striking exchange with Joe, and at one point kind of not gets the better of it. I never thought that Joe was in trouble.
No, I did.
But there was an awesome moment where Titus just slapped Joe across the face, and Joe just walked away a bit, smiled, like, okay, it's this kind of match, is it, you big F word? Now I'm gonna attack you and choke you out, which is totally what he did, and he cheated because he's a heel. That was that cheap shot from over the referee. So, I mean, I really like matches where everyone is angry.
Yeah.
And this is what I got from this match.
Right, and what you've just said there is absolutely not wrong. Aside from the fact it's Titus O'Neil, who has zero credibility. So when Titus they're going like, I'm angry, I'm like, yeah, but you're still Titus O'Neil. And
which is why he won in 2 minutes.
You're still a perennial
why
jobber.
He lost in 2 minutes.
You don't win matches. Stop getting a load of offense in. If this had been like, when Jinder came back, this was Jinder's role. You just go in there, you get beaten up, you put over the bigger star. If Jinder, say, like this time last year, had got this much offense in on Samoa Joe, we'd all be going like, Jinder got far too much in that match.
But if there was a story behind it where Joe had been slapping around Jinder's friends for the past 3 weeks...
But then you'd be like, why is Joe stuck in a feud with Jinder Mahal?
Well, just because Joe is moving on to bigger things.
He's already on to bigger things. He's Samoa Joe. He was challenging for the Universal title not that long ago.
I genuinely, this was one of my favourite parts of the show.
Oh no, I thought this was. I'm not saying it was like horrendous and like just awful and things like that. But I think it was very questionable. Okay. It's certainly not how I would have done it. If Kurt Hawkins had got the exact same amount of offense in with the exact same circumstances, I don't think we'd be sitting there going like, oh man, Kurt got a good showing in. I'm really glad about that.
No, but if Kurt's angry and he's visibly angry and he's got a story leading into why he's angry and he's wild at the start, sometimes you can't counter anger.
You can. If he's a smart lad, he's a smart wrestler, you use that anger
and
against
him.
He
absorbed it for a minute and a half and then choked him out.
And got a cheap shot on him.
Yes, because he's a heel.
No, I disagree. I really disagree.
If it was longer, if this was a 5-minute match, I would be with you. But this was a 2-minute squash, really.
I mean, we talked about it longer than the match was.
Joe was always in control. So, we'll have to
disagree.
We'll have to disagree to disagree there.
Great line from Booker T, though, when he hit him in the throat. Oh, no, I think, Joe hit him in the throat. And it was like, oh, man, what a hit to the throat. Booker T goes, he hit him under the chin. And he goes, oh, no, I think he hit him in the throat. And Michael goes, that is under the chin.
Yeah. Great stuff, Booker.
Yep.
And of course, Joe choked out Apollo Crews after the match.
Yeah. Another question I do have here is, why is Apollo Crews with Titus?
Titus Worldwide.
I know, but if you're a up-and-coming star in the WWE and you sign your deal with Titus Worldwide, because Titus Worldwide is there in his suit and he's like, hey, I'm going to get you title shots, I'm going to get you all this stuff. Look at the great work I did with Tozawa, where he got that 6-day reign as Cruiserweight Champion. You're like, okay, yeah, this sounds great. And then all it turns out is you both lose all the time and you both don't really get any much TV time. Surely you'd be going like, I don't think this is working out, to be honest. Like, you promised me a lot, but you haven't delivered any of it.
So I've just got to know, like, WWE have not told this story. I just think they're friends.
Okay.
They both got bald heads.
Yep.
Yeah, they just they seem like chums.
That's just what it is.
Yeah, it's a poorly told story. There was a moment where Titus Worldwide was getting over. Heaven forbid we can't have that. Let's just forget about them for a couple of weeks.
That wasn't the plan.
Yeah. Next up, we had Paige's in-ring return and Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville's in-ring WWE main roster debuts. But it wasn't to turn out that way. They were booked in a match against Mickie James, Sasha Banks and Bayley. Alexa Bliss was on commentary. Sasha Banks is out there and the music plays for Mickie James. No one comes out. So they play the music for Bayley. No one comes out either. So then Paige, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville come out and Paige is like, well, there was your friends. So I'm not very good at impressions.
This is your new Paige voice.
This is my, yeah. She's... Someone that said that she looks like a cross between Ronald McDonald and the Joker, with just the way her lips are in the red with the very pasty skin. And of course that's very nasty. But now I can't unsee that because there is a Ronald McDonald element about her lips.
Yeah. Oh yeah, pretty much.
Sort of clownish, but it fits her character. I still think she's really good on the mic. I do hope she never says I'm back again, though.
No, I think that's going to be her thing now.
But she is, which that was last week.
And now at least we know why Emma was fired. Because they looked at Emma's gimmick and was like, oh, we should really give that gimmick to Paige. But
what, having black lipstick?
No, as in I'm the matriarch of the women's revolution. I'm the women's revolution. I started this thing. So they were like, oh, really, that gimmick fits Paige better. But we've already given it to Emma. But if we fired Emma, then the gimmick's free.
There we go.
And we could just heat transference.
Soon on WrestleTalk, real reason Emma released again. Another real reason.
Reels in quotation marks.
So Paige was good here. She did the best she could with the material. But it was a badly scripted promo with the matriarch of the women's evolution. It was just
but it wasn't the women's evolution. It was the WWE evolution.
Yeah.
It's just words that no one says.
And it was evolution rather than revolution. This week it's evolution. And then they did... But that was, that's WWE, whatever. But then they gave the mic to Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, who also had their own little bits. And they just thought... Let them be silent muscle, at least for a month or two, because this is the second week, and they're not going to, unless they're an amazing promo. And Mandy, I thought both, said their lines pretty well. They did it with passion, but they're just not over to the level where people really want to listen to them, especially after Paige has just spoken for several minutes.
Yeah.
And the crowd gave her the Sonya the what treatment.
Yeah.
It was not a good way to do this.
Well, that's what I feel really bad for Sonya Deville, because the crowd were into Paige as the established star. They gave Mandy Rose some time, but when they realised that Sonya was also going to cut a promo as well, that's when they decided, I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
And just started giving her the what treatment. I just felt really bad for her.
Yeah, and that's not it is the crowd's fault, but it's actually WWE's fault for making the crowd feel that way.
And also, I think from this promo as well, and certainly from the actions on SmackDown Live, we can now draw a line on this that they're not connected.
Yeah. Well, they still could retcon it easily.
I was going to say, I think at this point now, if it turns out that they are on the same team, that's very much just WWE going like, oh god, we copied the same, we just did the same thing again. It's all connected. It's the MCU.
Let's not bring up the MCU right now. We'll do that after the Raw review. So Paige also revealed her motivation behind coming back with a trio that she, it was a bit lame. I thought a bit empty, because it was, like you said, Emma's gimmick. And the trio's name, Absolution.
Absolution. I've written here, Absolution is their name. Their gimmick is they love Paige.
Yes. It's a fine name, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, someone said to me on Twitter yesterday, the Undisputed Era, Absolution, Sanity, like just WWE have just got like a terrible name generator. They all sound like they belong on the crap gimmick roster. And I said, in all fairness, Absolution's far and away better than Team PCB or Team Bad or the Welcoming Committee. Like, it's of all the names they've had so far, that one's fine.
It's like how Tyler Breeze is a better name than Percy Watson. Like, we're getting there, but it's no Rock, it's no Kane, it's no Undertaker. Yet the only other good part about this that I really enjoyed was Alexa Bliss subtly bailing on commentary, very in a coward-like fashion.
Loved that.
As Absolution made their way down to the ring.
There was also a brief bit of just pure joy that I had for a moment in this match when Sasha Banks was making her entrance, but because Booker T, Corey, and Alexa were all talking, Michael Cole couldn't say his catchphrase. And then they stopped talking, and Michael Cole's went, "It's boss time, it's Sasha Banks." I was like, oh, you absolute dick. You could have given me 1 week off.
Yeah, he's got to get him in. You got to get your S in, haven't you? Got to get your S word in. Those are Michael Cole's high spots.
He was just sitting there, just itching to say it. Guys, shut up. Oh, it's boss time.
So Banks, the match never got started, so we're still awaiting the debut and return match for those people. And Banks was offered a place on Absolution, but she said no thanks.
Yeah.
And she got beaten up. Next up, we have Bray Wyatt beating Matt Hardy.
He cut a promo.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt, I completely forgot. He cut a promo.
He also said at the start of his promo, I'm not sure this is word for word, not many of you here will understand what I'm about to say. That's every promo you've ever done, Bray.
Well, I always understand what he says, and I really like the way he delivers it.
Yeah.
I just don't care. Because ultimately it means nothing. He never follows up on what he says.
He never wins.
He never wins to give these words credibility.
Yeah.
There's only so many times I can hear someone say, "I'm the Eater of Worlds," and then get defeated a month later. And if you're not a comedy character where you're like overly cocky, that would work, but it's a shame because Bray Wyatt's character is incredible.
Yeah, you're absolutely right because he builds himself up to be this really great thing, and then he never wins. But it's fine when Titus O'Neil does it, I guess.
Oh, that is like that, is it? It's like that. So yeah, this was I just blanked out for 3 minutes while Bray Wyatt cut this promo. Something about not getting Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he was talking about turkey or something, or carving turkey.
Never got to have I didn't have a good childhood.
Then just started shouting, "You're all dead."
Yeah. I mean, we didn't get Thanksgiving because we're British.
No, I did though.
Did you?
I had Friendsgiving.
Well, that's a hipster thing that you started up this year. I'll have no part of that, thank you. So Bray Wyatt went one-on-one with Matt Hardy, and the commentators throughout the match were putting over how Matt seems to have lost a step.
Yeah.
He's not being very good in this match, and Bray won in minutes, really. Now Bray exited, and the camera stayed on Matt, and he's in the corner, and he's looking dishevelled and down with himself, and then he starts doing the delete hand movement.
Yep, and then 12 people joined in.
Yeah, 12 people joined in, and then Matt stopped, and then he started again saying delete out loud, and then a few more people joined in.
15 people.
It's early days. Like, if they did this, I think...
Okay.
I know. I think if they did this when they returned, if all was legally sorted out, it would have been a hit. But now, it's been so long, and they've done the nostalgia thing, Jeff's been injured, like, the mainstream memory of that, of the whole broken gimmick, has been wiped.
Yeah.
So you just got to build it up. So I'm not too worried about this not getting over. I just think it's going to take 3 or 4 weeks of people not just, like, remembering the gimmick, but re-finding the gimmick.
Yeah, because in all fairness, I'm not sure that like delete was over to the degree that many people thought it was anyway.
Well, I don't know. You look at huge crowds.
Yeah, you look at at WrestleMania where you got the hardest of the hardcore fans
and plenty of mainstream as well. But like you would have Raws before the Hardys even signed, where everyone was going to leave.
Yeah, you say everyone, but it's not like you say everyone, it's not the entire crowd were doing it.
No,
the hardcore fans were doing it, and that's great. It was really over with hardcore fans. apart from this, I don't think it's as over it is now with hardcore fans, because a lot of people have just moved on. We've just moved on to different things. So, I mean, I've written here, look how unover Delete is now. And now this just feels very inorganic because you're just doing it for the sake of doing it now that you've got the rights to do it, by all accounts. However, so that was just my thoughts on the whole thing. But credit where credit is due. And there's certainly credit to Matt and how much people really like him and liked the gimmick way back when. The Delete stuff is the most watched stuff on our channel. So there is an audience for it. And all it'll take is just a little bit of rebuilding and you'll get back to the point you were at. So, well, you won't get to WrestleMania again, but you'll get to a point.
So how would you do that?
Well, we've already done that. We did a fancy booking warfare.
But this is like now, where it's you've got to re-break Matt again. There's no Jeff around. He's injured until WrestleMania. I mean, we always said, like, the dream match would be the Broken Hardys versus the Wyatt family. And now, in November 2017, the Wyatt family is just one pretty lame guy, and Matt has run out of steam.
Yeah, I mean,
but it looks like that's going to be the first feud.
It's a tag team. That's what I would do. I would do them, rather than them feuding with each other, I'd do them as a tag team.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It would be
what a fantastic idea.
It's Matt breaking and Bray taking him under his wing of just being like, I'm going to guide you, I'm going to show you the way.
And then
they're just becoming this quite unstable unit. Because Bray feels like he's breaking down, just constantly shouting, you're all dead. So these two just wild men as a tag team, and let's be honest, we could do with a couple more tag teams on this show, because there are only two. At least
that are used. That aren't doing WWE shop commercials.
Yeah, what nerds. So, like, that for me works. And then you've got a storyline already built there for when Jeff comes back. It'd be like, hey, I thought we were a tag team. Wow, we're a tag team no more. And then maybe Jeff can join them as well.
I really like that. I never even thought about putting them together as a tag team.
Yeah.
But I would have Broken Matt be the one to take Bray Wyatt under his wing.
Yeah, oh yeah, that works well.
Just because like he's the new character, you sort of need to reboot Bray in this.
That's great, yeah.
And then you run it through, and then Bray eventually turns on Broken Matt. So there'd be like a babyface tag team together, because the Broken Matt character, I hope, would be a crazy babyface.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got me going.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got me going. I want that to happen so
I can
bad
go for that.
It's not going to happen, is it? It's just going to be...
No, they'll just feud, and then they'll give up on it, and then we'll never see it again.
Yeah, it'll be a singles feud for 4 months where they only exclusively face each other.
Yep.
And then they sometimes vary it up with Sister Abigail.
But then Jeff will come back, and then they'll be like, oh, the Hardy Boys are back. Nostalgia all over again.
Oh, I want Jeff to be a singles run. Let's just hope. Come on, let's hope. Check the cynicism. So next up, we have Jason Jordan backstage with Kurt Angle. Jordan says, I'm fine now, my knee's totally fine, and I want to show the critics that it is fine, and I'm good. So I'll take on Kane. But he was never convincing. He was always quite subtly coward the way he was talking about this. Jason Jordan, I don't know why more people aren't talking about him, and why like the Wrestling Observer seem to be particularly down on him. I think the guy is putting in an... Well, did you just put your middle finger up at me when you were wiping your nose?
No, not at all.
Well, that was a subtle thing for people watching at home. I just thought that. I just thought that, yeah, he's doing incredible character work. I think Jordan is phenomenal right now.
Yeah, mate, I'm with you.
Cool. Next up, we had the first of the 2 4-way cruiserweight qualifiers. Rich Swann won it.
Yep.
It was a really good match, but I didn't care.
Nope, it was a very long match as well.
Yeah, got a good 10 to 15 minutes.
Again, I think I said this to you yesterday. It felt for me that Raw was a show of just filling time. It felt like they booked out this show and then realised, oh, actually, I don't think this is actually going to be a full 3 hours. So let's give everyone a bit longer, and then we'll just do that. Like, it just felt like so much buffer in this.
Michael Buffer.
Yeah, a lot of Michael Buffer in this, particularly this match. It just felt like it was a really long match that was probably a little bit unnecessary, but I enjoyed it.
I agree. I definitely felt that in the main event string of matches.
God, yeah.
That was where it really... I mean, the rest of it was a bit slow, but I didn't mind it. But yeah, at the end, I was pretty done.
Corey Graves and Booker T argued throughout this match, and there was a point where... So the gimmick of the Zoe train is that Enzo is paying all of these lads. he's paying them to be his friends essentially.
Sure.
So you've got Booker T and Corey Graves being like, "Hey, look at the Zoe Train. They're being paid. They're making a lot of money to be friends with Enzo. That's a great thing." And then partway through the match, they said about Daivari. Daivari comes from a very rich family. He's got a lot of money. So I'm like, okay, so what is the gimmick then? Is he being paid by Enzo, and that's why he's hanging out with him, or is he already really rich and just likes hanging out with Enzo? What's the gimmick?
I can't answer this.
No.
Is that a rhetorical question?
It was very much a rhetorical question. Maybe I'm the only one that cared. I'm probably the only one who picked up on it.
Another bit that went on pretty long, although I actually quite enjoy. I've seen other people be critical of this. I really enjoyed everything about Roman Reigns and Elias from the get-go, with Elias coming out and doing his song for ages.
Are we talking about the cruiserweights?
Oh, I thought that was... I mean, I said I didn't care. I thought that was... That was a sign I was going to move on immediately.
Sorry.
Did you have more
bits? The only thing I was going to say is that I genuinely didn't know who was going to win. But I think that's less about, like, the spots were really worked out. It was just like, I don't know who was the most over of this group.
I don't think I think they flip a coin before they go out. That's how they book the cruiserweight division.
Difficult to do with 4 people.
Yeah, well, they flip loads of coins. And it's...
Those 4
They roll a dice. So Elias...
Again, very difficult with 4 people.
Elias sung a song. It was a special dice.
Yeah, D4.
How would that work? Like a triangle?
Yeah, it's a triangle, yeah.
Right, okay.
You ever play Dungeons & Dragons?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
But I want to. So Elias sung a song in honour of the fallen Miz, which is a nice way to keep the Miz plate spinning while he's off TV filming a movie. And the crowd heat was nuclear.
Yeah.
Like, he got really good heat there. I just... he did the whole, I'm going to have to start again. But I don't think Elias should ever finish a song. I always think the babyface should come out.
That's what I was waiting for. And it felt like I was waiting for, again, this whole sort of like buffer filling time. It just felt like I was waiting a long time for Roman to make his entrance, because Elias did 2 full songs. He did his song for The Miz, then The Miz Taraj joined him. The 3 of them played together. And then they finished, and they were like, that was a great concert. We have now finished that concert. And Roman Reigns makes his entrance. I'm like, where were you, dude?
Yeah. Roman's a bit of a dick sometimes.
Yeah.
If anything, like, Elias should have started a 3rd song, and then you interrupt that.
Exactly.
Because that way the heat's died down now. Or like Elias goes, now for my 3rd song. Oh, you want an encore? Something like that. But they didn't do that.
Especially considering at one point the crowd were chanting, "We want Roman," apart from the 5 lads that chanted back, "No, we don't."
What did you think of the Miz Taraj on the harmonicas?
I mean, it's very funny. They're very funny guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I really enjoyed that. But again, I was like, I've literally written my notes here. What am I watching? This is the sort of moment where I'm glad that my wife sleeps in while I'm watching wrestling. Because if she'd have walked out at this point and seen me watching this on the TV, she would have looked at me and be like, "What is this? What are you watching?"
It's where you almost, like, would you rather be watching that, or do you quickly switch the browser to the weird foot fetish website? Yeah, I'll go for that instead. Yeah, I've been checking out Foot Fetish's wife.
At least you could explain that.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, because you're like, oh, well, he's Elias, he's a drifter, and he's sort of like, he's a bit of a hobo, I think, and he plays music, but then people interrupt him. And then those 2 guys there were bodyguards for a movie actor, but that movie actor's now doing a movie. Well, he's injured, but he's doing a movie. And they're now pretending to play harmonicas.
So, again, with the harmonica thing, as funny as it was and as much as I liked it, I know I said that I liked everything about this segment, but now I'm picking it apart.
Yeah.
Is, again, like, they're miming it. They're obviously not playing the harmonicas. So the joke is that's exposed, right?
Yeah.
At one point you have, like, the thing start, the harmonica music start playing, and they haven't got it to their lips. But they just played it.
Yeah.
Like comedy baby faces rather than comedy heels.
Yeah.
So a bit weird. But the actual match, I enjoyed it. I've seen negative reviews that it was mostly chin locks. Apparently there's a 4-minute chin lock.
There's a 4-minute chin lock in the match, yeah.
I quite liked it, though. I liked the booking of the interference. I thought Roman's spear on Curtis Axel was amazing. I thought some of Elias's offense, the powerbomb, I thought looked really good.
His elbow was great.
And he kind of looks like Macho Man.
Yeah.
So there was that side. And afterwards, Samoa Joe attacked Roman from atop the ramp, making him pass out in the Coquina Clutch.
Yes, I mean, I've not written a lot of notes about the match, but I have written Roman is very, very good.
Yes, as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And Samoa Joe attacked. Probably should have beaten Titus O'Neil much convincingly if that's the angle you're going to book. That's all I'm saying.
2-minute match. Joe won in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
which he lost 80% of.
Maybe you'll be a lot happier about this next match.
This was my favourite match of the show.
Yeah, this was a very good segment. Asuka beat... So Dana Brooke has demanded this rematch. Because at first I was like, why are they doing this match again? But then they have the little split screen where Dana Brooke's like, I've been studying the tapes. I've found the hole in Asuka's offense.
She's a slow starter.
Yeah, she's a slow starter. I'm just going to run at her and really win at the start. And I thought, where are they going with this? And then, record-breaking, Dana Brooke runs straight into an armbar, taps immediately. The armbar that Asuka put on was so slick.
Good.
Incredible. And yeah, Dana tapped immediately.
Yep.
And it is the...
it's the quickest submission victory on WWE TV and the cleanest victory in WWE TV because it's literally one move.
Incredible stuff. So Asuka looked really strong. It really got over her submission game, which is the best thing about Asuka for me.
Yep.
And then Absolution came down.
I've just written here, Paige and Friends.
Yeah. And they surrounded the ring. And thankfully, nobody said she's surrounded because, of course, there's only 3 of them.
Yeah.
And Asuka realised this and she eventually walked out. So there's some conspiracy theories around this.
Yeah, well, there are some people just like, oh, this feels like they're going together as a foursome and that Asuka's joining them. But I never read that in at all. I just read it was Paige and Absolution came down to say, like, just so you know, we're kind of like running this women's division now, and because you're part of that, this is a bit of a warning. Whereas Asuka's reaction was just like, cool, I'm also Asuka, no one's ready for me, so you can try it if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it. And they all just agreed, let's not do this now.
Yeah.
This is a very bad time. We've not thought this through. You are on your own. Let's back away.
Totally what I got as well.
Yeah.
And the whole, like, Pages, it seems Absolution's thing seems to be, I mean, the meaning of absolution is to absolve someone of sins. So I guess their act would be asking someone first, like, you can join us, or we're going to beat you up.
Yeah.
So, like, I got more like Paige was saying, hey, Asuka, you want to join us? And Asuka's like, I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah,
I'm going to
kill every single one of you.
Yeah, kill every
one of you.
I'm going to tear your limbs off. And, but when Asuka smiled, I think some people have interpreted that as, oh, we're colluding together with part of a faction.
Yeah.
I disagree completely. I just thought that was Asuka smiling manically, thinking of all the horrible things she can do to people.
Absolutely.
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 So, for the main event, we had Kane and Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan continuing to be the best promo ever in the company history, came out and said, now, a lot of people just cut this really long whining promo about his injured knee and how it's like, people on social media have been criticising me for this. Genius.
Yeah.
Absolutely genius. He's just like, he comes across so well as this whining, just entitled kid.
Baby face.
Yeah.
In huge inverted commas.
Really enjoyed that. Kane comes down for the match. And, it was like, as soon as the match started, Jordan was not selling the leg. I don't know if that was intentional, but I got it like,
yeah.
You know, he's picking Kane up, does a few suplexes.
Yep, all over the show.
But then he falls outside and he starts selling his knee.
Yeah.
So, you know, make of that what you will. And he took the count-out loss. So Kane won, and then there was a very, very long beatdown.
Yeah.
Which went on for ages, which was the first sort of sign of this being overstaying its welcome. And then Finn Balor came out to save Jordan, who was getting beaten up by Kane.
I mean, you say he came to save him. He did stop to do his entrance.
Yeah, it wasn't the most sincere of saves.
No.
So Balor's music hits. No rundown. Popped his jacket collar a few times, threw his hands up in the air. He's over, if you didn't know.
We're not making wrestling here, we're making movies.
Yeah.
And because of that, I've got my spots to hit.
Mm-hmm. Michael Cole's got to say he's...
the extraordinary man who does extraordinary things.
I think Corey Graves had that honour this week.
I think it's Corey Graves' thing.
Is
it? No,
actually,
Cole does it as well. Booker T doesn't do it, though.
And then there was an ad break, and we came back, and Kane has another match.
Well, of course, Kane's one of the most over people on the roster.
But, like, what? Like, they didn't really explain it. They said, oh, yeah, Kurt Angle's made this other match. But, like, why?
Yeah.
Why does Kane have to wrestle again? Why is it against Finn Balor? it just, that part didn't make sense. And it did just feel like, again, like, oh yeah, we've got a bit more time to fill, chuck this in as well. So Kane got DQ'd pretty quickly by hitting Finn with a chair, and then just, again, another prolonged beatdown sequence. It seemed to take forever. So we got 2 Kane beatdowns. So Kane's looking strong. That's, you know, very past its sell-by date. However, it is, in the long run, there is an argument, because it is to make Strowman look better when Strowman goes over.
Yeah, I mean, I get that it is, like, there is an argument to be made that it's so you can get Strowman over. That's grand. But I don't think people are buying into Kane.
No, that's where it falls down.
That's where it completely falls down. So actually what you're doing is you're sacrificing Jason Jordan and you're sacrificing Finn Balor for something that's not really working, which in turn isn't getting Braun over. Like, Braun already is, like, the most over that he can possibly be. So I've completely lost interest in this feud.
Totally. Yeah, so Braun Strowman eventually came down to save Balor.
Yep. He apparently wasn't going to be here this week, but here he was.
And well, he refused medical attention from his neck. He was slightly holding his neck when he came down, still selling like a pro. But then they just had like this slow motion Justice League underwater style fight where it wasn't good. Or actually, I did like one bit when Kane slowly backed away from Braun. Like, I thought that was the most Kane has done, like the most effective thing Kane has done to get Braun over as an intimidating monster. I really like that.
I just think that we could have done this Braun save after Jason Jordan. We didn't need the Finn Balor stuff because really that amounted to nothing.
It did kind of feel like, oh, Finn Balor, you keep on saying how over you are on social media. We're gonna feed you to Kane this week.
Literally in my notes here. Well, that'll learn you.
Yeah. So Kane took the same thing he gave Braun the previous week with the chair to the throat, and then Kane just walked out through the crowd after being beaten down. It was worse than their non-match from 2 weeks ago before Survivor Series, and what a limp ending for Raw.
So bad. It's a Smackdown review, Maggle. I love it. We got us a flying Uso.
We're a bit tingly because we just watched the Avengers Infinity War trailer.
Oh my god, so good. Oh man.
Yeah, okay. Well,
right. Okay, let's
Smackdown is rubbish in comparison to that trailer.
Let's try and get back on track.
Why can't we just start a movie channel?
Like, let's get back on track.
Okay.
Let's do this, and then we can go watch it again.
Okay. I'm going to be watching that all evening. Okay, so guess what opened Smackdown this week?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what opened Smackdown this week. It was me opening my notes, writing down Smackdown Live, writing the words Shane McMahon out for a promo, then pressing play.
Yes. That is exactly what happened. Shane McMahon continues not to be a good promo, not to be an engaging promo, and to have an inconsistent, slightly weird character. So they, of course, position him as the focal point of the show and the main attraction to kick things off.
Byron Saxton, when Shane McMahon came out, said in as many words, Shane McMahon's here. Shane McMahon's coming out. I was like, are you surprised?
Well, to be fair, he did take the night off halfway through last week.
Yeah, but he's always there for the start of the show.
That's a good point. So Shane called Daniel Bryan down to the ring to sort of explain why Owens and Zayn shouldn't be fired for costing SmackDown the Survivor Series main event. And Bryan explained that he thinks people deserve second chances.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like,
cough, cough.
Like wrestling again. And that both men have real talent, and Daniel isn't just a yes man, which, runs contrary to what the chants say.
I've got here, like, Bryan comes out, he believes in second chances. Shane says something. Bryan talks about brass rings. Shane says something else. Like, anytime Shane says words, like, I've no interest in what he's got to say.
Yeah.
Really I've gone very cold on Shane McMahon.
Yeah, completely soured on him. It's like, once you realise, he's not good at promos and this authority figure role, you can't go. It's just a steep slope from there.
Yeah, it's really. I don't want to see him open up SmackDown again.
No. But it did. Daniel Bryan is very good in his role.
Yeah.
But I couldn't really take my eyes off the top he was wearing. It was just like a very tight white long sleeve top.
Oh yeah.
I'm just so used to him in the sort of flannel top that it just looked a bit
cool
weird.
People wear.
Yeah, it was just a bit weird to see him like that. So Shane said at the end of this, well, tonight's main event of Owens versus Orton, which no one cares about either, Sami Zayn is going to be banned from ringside, and it's a no DQ match.
I mean, what could happen in this main event? with these very inconsistent rules.
So I guess you can say it's a no DQ match, asterisk, Sammy's not at ringside.
Yeah.
So that is the only DQ. I don't know. It's just like, yeah.
I will say this. I thought that SmackDown started bad, but got much better by the end.
Okay.
That's my general feeling of this show, but it did start very bad.
So next up we had Owens and Zayn backstage going up to Bryan and saying, hey, you can't put us in the no DQ Sammy ban from ringside. And Daniel had probably the most interesting line of the night, where he said, hey, I'm not changing this. You're not the only ones trying to keep your jobs around here.
Yeah.
Implying Daniel Bryan's job is on the line, or he feels some pressure. All the Daniel Bryan stuff is super interesting, and the tension he has with an authority figure is also very interesting. Unfortunately, the person in that role is Shane McMahon, who is not interesting, and neither of these guys, at least for a year, can have a match with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the smartest way to book something. You kind of want to pay off with a match or a manager who can take bumps. Maybe that is what they're building towards.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Because I've written here, I guess they're not working together then, which was the theory we sort of had last week, where it was because Bryan didn't fire Kevin and Sammy. There was like that show-long storyline of like, are they going to be working together? And then it was like, oh no, you're having a match with Randy Orton next week. Oh, I guess that really wasn't going anywhere then. And then tonight I'm like, yeah, no, that storyline definitely isn't going anywhere then.
I don't think you can rule that out, though. I still think it could transpire that it's all been a work.
You reckon?
Or that Daniel Bryan hasn't told Owens and Zayn they're part of his plan and he's manipulating them. Yeah.
Because that's what authority figures do.
Yes.
They manipulate the wrestlers because the wrestlers are too dumb to work things out for themselves.
Yeah.
They are just the toys. They are the puppet masters. The authority are the ones in control.
So next up we had the New Day beating Shelton Benjamin, as the Usos reminded us on commentary, and Chad Gable. Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, remember, are the #1 contenders for the tag team titles.
Well, are they though? Because,
are they?
Well, I mean, I thought they were as well, but by the end of this match, I was like, huh. So I guess they're not in contention for the tag team titles, and the way that they were building it up on commentary was that we're heading for another Usos versus New Day feud.
The New Day and the Usos definitely felt really chummy. Big E came down. Usos were on commentary. Big E came down and produced some pancakes with plates with maple syrup from his singlet.
Yeah.
And the Usos were like, oh, fantastic pancakes. Which was like a weird and funny thing to do. Yeah. Byron Saxton immediately Corey was like, don't eat that. And Byron Saxton leant over and said, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Great Byron stuff
what
again.
A geek. Yeah, there was I actually really liked the opening spot of this match where Chad Gable did like a headlock takeover, and then it was so subtle, gave him a bit of a noogie. It was I really liked that.
Heel tendencies.
Because they're not a heel team, are they?
They are a heel team.
Thank you very much. But there was also, when they were doing like their really big speed attack things, building up into like their kind of like the purveyors of geek culture, the Usos called that Speed Force. And then Xavier Woods stood up and shouted at the top of his lungs, "We're so good."
Yeah, the New Day are great. Kofi and Xavier really, I mean, not just them, but Benjamin and Gable, they've all got very good chemistry together, and the Usos as well. I mean, I wouldn't hate a 3-way ladder match. You've been
clamoring to that for years now.
Oh, Benjamin in a ladder match. I fear for his life. I can never forget that Money in the Bank at Mania moment when I was like, he's dead. He fell that high on another ladder.
Speaking of like nearly dying, there was a moment where Xavier Woods hit a phenomenally great top rope drop kick to Shelton Benjamin. It just looked like it took him clean out. It was wonderful.
It seemed like a really good match, and the ending was definitely very hot. Unfortunately, half of it was in the commercial break.
Yep, yeah, pretty much, yeah. And New Day won convincingly, I've written here in my notes here. That's the other side of it as well, is that, we might be building this 3-way thing, but again, American Beta looked like they were never in control of winning the match. They were convincingly beaten by the New Day.
Next up, we had Naomi, Charlotte, and Natalia backstage.
Standing in a row.
Yeah, all either former champions or the champions. So these are like the last 3 SmackDown Women's Champions. Hefty opposition for the debuting NXT call-ups. Like, full credit to WWE for booking them as their first opponents because it really elevates the NXT girls. But not credit for the awful dialogue they had to say to each other.
Did Natalia botch her line in this?
What was the line?
Because her line was, they may be big fish in a small pond, but we're going to show them that this is SmackDown Live. So,
yeah.
Is SmackDown the small pond? Surely they're small fish in a big pond.
NXT was possibly the small
was
pond.
That the small pond? But the way she phrased it was that they're now the big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
I wonder if she was meant to say they're small fish in a big pond.
Yeah, I mean, it was just all wooden delivery.
Yeah.
Naomi's bad at this stuff. Natalia tries her hardest, but it's not very fun to listen to. Charlotte's the best of the 3, but even she couldn't get out this verbiage correctly.
Yeah, no.
Not correctly, sorry, but like, it's impossible to read the stuff they've got. Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah.
What wasn't terrible, however...
No, this is where the show got great.
...was the Bludgeon Brothers, who...
The show turned an absolute corner for me after this.
2 weeks in, very, very good stuff from the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yep.
Great music. They just destroyed the Hype Bros in under a minute.
So wonderful.
I really like that finisher. I really like the slap as well.
Yeah,
to
love
Psych
that.
Rowan up.
Yep.
I even like the hammers and the putting down
Yes.
the thing. Like, that grew on me this week.
Someone tweeted me today because I was like, oh, the Bludgeon Brothers are so awesome. And they said, like, why do you love them? It's just the same wrestlers we've seen. They've just got a weird gimmick now. And they wear weird costumes and listed all these negative things about them. And I just replied, yeah, but now they carry hammers. They're wonderful now. They're great.
Well, you just described WWE's booking meeting. Because what would have been nice, because I'm a big fan of their previous Wyatt family gimmick, I didn't see anything wrong with it. But okay, you want to give them a new act to refreshen them up. At least tell a story to how they got there.
Yeah.
Like, say, they went out to the woods, show some vignettes of them becoming these characters. Otherwise, it's just like, oh, but I know that's Luke Harper from the Wyatt family. So why is he doing this?
Yeah, why does he have a hammer?
Yeah, well, they won't ask that because he's got a hammer now. The hammer's cool enough. The hammer explains the gimmick.
This is the best way I can describe it. Malibu Stacy just got a new hat.
Yes, perfect. Great Simpsons reference. Now, after this match, after months and months of teasing...
After no mention of it last week.
Yeah, and being dropped seemingly several times... Mojo Rawley turned on Zack Ryder.
Certainly did. He attacked him and then gave him a bit of a vicious beatdown while screaming, "Hype Bros are dead." Yep.
So maybe he's going to be with Bray Wyatt. You're all dead.
Yeah.
Also the Hype Bros. This
Broken
was...
Mojo Rawley.
And the crowd were cheering like, this is
awesome.
awesome. And you're like, it's exactly what happened when Goldust turned on R-Truth. And the crowd were like, way! Yeah. Because they get to see a heel turn. It's like a high spot. It's like a title change. But there's no emotion there. You're not really invested in either of these characters. It's just hollow chanting. Again, not the fault of the crowd. It's the fault of the storytelling of WWE.
Because they should have done this breakup months ago when the storyline was actually at its apex. But then they just dropped it because they were like, Survivor Series has got to be done first. And now they're just... bring it back up and be like, now we'll do it.
Or just tell the story again. Like, just have 4 weeks of consistent television where you are telling the breakup of a team.
Yeah.
Not just have it come out like this when it's really... It's just rubbish. You wouldn't get that from another narrative piece of drama on TV. Like, we just watching The Walking Dead. Sometimes they do stupid things. But they wouldn't just bring up a plot point from ages ago and immediately pay it off there.
Yeah.
They'd spend a few weeks building it back up, or at least a video package or something.
Are there video packages in The Walking Dead?
Like a recap at the start of an episode.
I'd love it if there were video packages.
So in a way,
like with classy Freddie Blassie doing voiceover.
Yeah. So this was just another tag team breakup for a tag team breakup's sake.
Yep. Because, I mean, we're swimming in tag teams at the moment, aren't we? So let's just break one of them up.
I mean, Mojo Rawley, Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner.
Yep.
I think I got that out right. He's destined for great things, right? So he seems to be getting the heel push. Zack Ryder.
But where's he getting the heel push to?
I don't
Because that's the thing with SmackDown. This is the discussion we had last week, or we've had over a couple of weeks. SmackDown is the land of mid-carders. So all he's going to be is just another mid-carder in amongst all of the other mid-carders. He's just fighting fighting for positions against Bobby Roode and Baron Corbin and Mike Kanellis and Ty Dillinger and just all these Dolph Ziggler, just all these mid-carders that SmackDown has.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Shinsuke Nakamura is another one.
I hate to say it.
Yeah.
He has become a mid-carder.
And if we're going to demote Jinder, then Jinder's just another mid-carder in there as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but, whenever this stuff happens, I'm like, oh, especially at the moment, is Zack Ryder safe? Because if you hear tomorrow Zack Ryder release from WWE, it's not like you can go, oh, I didn't see that coming, considering news over the past month and how things are going.
Yep. But speaking of the mid-card...
Yep, so next up we had Bobby Roode, someone who was glorious, could have been a main eventer, but now he's not found that level, he's been demoted to that level.
Because that's what SmackDown does. The land of the mid-card, you come in with all this momentum behind you, you come in as pushed as a big star, you get put into a feud with Dolph Ziggler and then Baron Corbin, boom, you're a mid-carder. Welcome to the mid-card.
Unless you're Randy Orton or John Cena. Those are the two main guys. Or Shane McMahon, he's good. Yeah. He's my favourite. So Bobby Roode was cutting a promo backstage. Pretty, again, bad script, good delivery, I thought. Bobby was doing his best with what he had.
Yep.
Then Baron Corbin stepped in, and he's like, just giving a really rubbish comeback. Like, I guess you really are delirious.
Yeah.
That isn't even the catchphrase. Glorious. That came off weird.
It was weird.
And then Bobby was like, okay, if you think you're so big and tough...
Also, he's not delirious, he's delusional. That's the line that's meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So Bobby then said, well, chat, let me fight you for the United States title tonight. This bit I really did enjoy,
Yeah,
though.
crowd pop big.
Yeah, and Corbin starts nodding. He's like, okay, we're going to do this. Leans forward. I swear I heard before he said it, you got a match. But then he just goes, no. Walks off. It was great.
Yeah, it was good.
That was, really great stuff from Baron Corbin. Also, very good stuff from AJ Styles versus the Singh brothers.
Do you know who's great? AJ Styles.
Yeah.
AJ Styles is a very good professional wrestler. Some might say he's one of the best. And I would agree with those.
So AJ got a huge pop coming out. The Singh brothers had come out before him. And even though they're the ones wrestling... they still introduced Jinder Mahal.
Well, it's the last time they get to do it.
Yeah. So Jinder attacks AJ before this handicap match against the Singh brothers. And it actually allowed AJ to have a match with the Singh brothers.
I cannot tell you how much I loved this.
Really
From
good.
start to end, I thought this was just brilliant. It was great. It's AJ just going constantly down because he's such a good babyface that these two dorks are just beating him up, and the crowd are booing because this is AJ Styles. He's the WWE champion, and he's being beaten down by these two dorks because these three dicks cheated and beat him up beforehand. And then AJ Styles just makes this great comeback, hits a spectacular move off the top, off the middle rope, gets the 3 count. Just what a match!
Yeah,
loved this.
Yeah, it's nice when characters are over the way you want them to be over.
Yes.
Good guys getting cheered, bad guys getting booed.
Love this.
It works.
Yeah.
But yeah, the particular move you're talking about was when AJ brings Samir? Yeah, Samir up to the second rope. Or Samir was trying to do something on him.
He was trying to do a Hurricane Rana.
And Samir was already on the ground. I didn't even realise he was there until the reversal. Styles clash off the second rope on one Singh brother, onto the other on the ground.
So
great
good.
Finish.
Wonderful. I love this. And do you know what? Credit where credit is due. Jinder sold all of this fantastically. He was on the outside just freaking out. He was really cheering when the Singh brothers were winning. Then he was really upset when they lost. I thought Jinder was actually quite good here.
Wait, are we seeing a Jinder Mahal breakdown? Yeah, broken Jinder.
Broken Jinder?
Yeah,
he's going to get like a big blonde streak in his Hinder Jinder.
I thought Jinder's facials, his performance at ringside was really, really good. I liked when his hair comes out and goes crazy.
Yeah.
He looks wild.
Yeah.
He's a big, lean man. He's intimidating.
Yeah.
And then he beat up the Singh brothers. His own personal goons.
And man alive, I hope they don't get rid of the Singh brothers because you just need them to take bumps for people. because like look how like brilliant they made Randy Orton by just taking bumps for him. And then they made Jinder look like really imposing because they sold the Colossus so well. Like one of them just flipped over like 20 times before he landed. It was wonderful.
It was really, really good. But again, I see this, and in a few days' time, WWE have come to terms with the Singh brothers for their release.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
This felt like writing people off shows.
Yeah. I can't wait for them to show up in Impact.
Yeah, but hopefully they do stick around, like you say, because they are a good act. Next up, we had Ruby Riott cutting a promo backstage, and she revealed the name because Paige gets absolution. Our name is the Riott Squad.
Yes, that's what it is, isn't it? It's the Riott Squad. Yes. Yeah. Fun fact for you that I had no idea about Ruby Riott. There are 2 T's in her name.
Now there are.
Is it now there are?
Yes, this is as of last night.
Right. Because her Titantron thing came up with 2 T's. I was like, has there always been 2 T's in Ruby Riott?
Literally last night.
Wow.
And it's because the speculation is that there is a sort of not fan fiction, but a teenage fiction character called Ruby Riott.
Oh, right.
In novels. So they have changed it to 2 T's.
It's like Taz when he came in and he had 2 Z's.
Exactly.
Okay.
She called them the Riott Squad, and then I thought she did a good job of reminding us of everyone's names. I'm Ruby Riott. I've got the Firecracker, Liv Morgan, and the tough Southern Belle. What's the name? Sarah Logan. That's what I needed to remind me of the names.
That couldn't have worked any better. Oh man, that's
but
so
it's
funny.
Just like the Shield did when they first debuted.
Yeah, Dean Ambrose,
Rollins, Reigns, Shield. Yeah, so it's a good way to get them over. And I thought those little bits before their names, the monikers, the Firecracker and the Southern Belle, really, I immediately got what their characters were.
Yeah, although I don't know, man. Liv Morgan's she's such a babyface.
Yeah,
she looks like a babyface. She cuts a promo like a babyface. She smiles like a babyface. She's just a babyface. I don't buy her as a heel act whatsoever.
I thought she was a cocky heel, and I thought she did the heel stuff good in this. But when I was going through the photos of the match afterwards, yeah, she's great babyface selling.
Because
I was like, I feel sympathy for you, and you're with Charlotte.
She's a very good babyface. She's a really good babyface. She's a likable person. Also, Firecracker, I don't know, it doesn't sound very dangerous. Like, it doesn't...
Oh, ow.
Exactly.
It's that sort of thing.
That's what I mean, yeah. Might as well call her, like, oh, she's a match.
Yeah.
Like, oh, strike a light. It's not great.
So they took on Charlotte, Natalya, and Naomi.
In a 6-woman tag?
In a 6-woman tag,
like
just like the
do
previous
Raw?
night.
Okay, really. Does this one end in a 3-on-1 handicap beatdown?
Sure does.
Oh, wow, okay.
However, I really enjoyed this.
Love
and of
this.
the 2, I think the Riott Squad are far more intriguing.
I'm totally with you. 100% with you on that. Although I'm not overly buying into Liv Morgan as a heel because I think she's too much of a babyface. I'm more interested in this act than I am at Absolution.
Although the Paige Asuka stuff was really good.
Yeah, but that's only more because I like Asuka.
Yeah. So the Riott Squad came out to Ruby Riott's entrance music, which is like
her really good babyface music.
Yeah, which is like a Ramones-style song. And they just, everything about them, the way they got in the ring, they all like pounced, like stayed there for a bit looking, and then all got in together and then sort of stalked around the same way. They had a real consistency across them, even though they all look very different from each other. And the match, Charlotte gets the heat for ages. Natalya first. Riott and Logan get the better of her, so she just bails.
I don't want any part of this. It was great. I loved that.
Really good booking, because now you've got it sort of still makes both sides look good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel bad for Charlotte and Naomi for losing, because they were at a disadvantage. And the 3 new girls still won.
That's a former champion that they've just chased off.
Yeah, so really good stuff.
Yeah.
Then Naomi also gets taken out brutally.
I loved this.
Yeah.
What an inventive way of doing a stair shot. Because the stairs are a bit overplayed in WWE. They don't really mean anything because people just get thrown into them all the time. But this, I was like, that's really inventive. At first, I thought they were sort of putting them on there as in like, oh, we've buried you under the stairs.
I thought that as well.
And I was like, I mean, you could tell that's not touching her at all. But then when they did the slingshot into it, I was like, that's great. That's a brilliant, brilliant inventive spot.
Just in case no one's seen it, they put Naomi on the ground, they propped the steel steps over her onto the barricade, so she's underneath it, and then, they did the slingshot up and took her out. And then Naomi was stretchered off, it was sold like a big deal.
Yeah.
So that's Becky Lynch last week, they took out with the door, and Naomi here, So they're really making a name for themselves, and later on, these women can return and take them on in a big babyface comeback.
Did I miss a line of commentary? Did they mention that Becky Lynch is taking time off, or that we're not going to see her for a while?
Not that I can remember, but last week they certainly did. Like, oh, she's really badly injured.
I know they said like she's really badly injured, but it was never like it's not like The Miz was taken out by a table shot and then they announced, we're not going to see Miz for a few weeks now, or we're going to see him for a few months. I don't know if maybe there was a line of dialogue or commentary. I just missed it.
I can't remember. But yeah, Riot ended up getting the pin on Charlotte.
Yep, with a little Pele kick, which I really like.
And they won. Great first match. Really into the Riot squad. I hope this continues.
Like this.
What about the Fashion Files sword?
This was great.
Did you? I think the Fashion Files stuff has leveled off. I think they're under the weight of this unresolved mystery. I feel like that's bogging over them too much. I prefer they just put that to rest and then embark on new adventures.
Well, I 100% agree with you. However, this very much made me laugh. There were lots of really good moments in this. For example, we need to beat this dead horse.
Yes,
that was
the keys were in the
keys
horse.
Were in the horse. Love that. But it was really just the improvisational shouting between Tyler Breeze, Victor, and Connor, where essentially, if you haven't seen it, it's a parody of Saw. They're tied up to the Breeze and Dango are tied up to the wall, as are the Ascension, and then a little screen comes up, and a faceless person says, "You're making a mockery of the tag team division. So in 60 seconds, I'm going to put poisonous gas into this room." And then they find the key in the horse. The Fashion Police save themselves because the Ascension say, "You save yourselves. We just want to be the martyrs that allow our best friends to save ourselves." And all the while they're saying this, Tyler Breeze just keeps shouting, "You're not our friends. You're not our friends. We're not best friends. You're not our friends." And then they run off, and then Dango comes back to pick up his hat, and they're like, "We knew you'd come back." It's like, "No, I need to get my hat."
Yeah.
And then they run off, and then they shout back, "We're still best friends." And then Tyler Breeze shouts back, "Goodbye, Vincent."
Yeah.
It's like, it's Connor.
Oh, is it?
Victor. It's Victor.
Yeah, it was all very funny. But yeah, the Ascension are dead, I suppose.
No, because I think they're the ones behind it all.
Oh, if you told me that a couple of months ago, I'd have been like, get out. That is the worst payoff. But now, I've actually worked it back round.
Absolutely, yeah, because all the Ascension want to be is their friends. And I think they're now setting themselves up into these situations so they can make the Fashion Files their friends, but they're not interested. And that's going to sow the seeds then for their big heel turn.
Only if the best way to do that would be sort of a sad piano music, and it's a flashback of all in black and white, all the things they've done. One other shout out, of course, to my boy Byron Saxton. Just before this, he did a Total Divas plug. And Corey's like, "We all know you love Total Divas." And Byron just reached over to do a fist bump.
Yeah.
And Corey didn't give it back to him.
My favourite thing about this, though, was they're doing up this plug for Total Divas. And Corey Graves is just like, "It's a great season of Total Divas. It's the best season yet so far. We've got Nia Jax, we've got Carmella, we've got Alexa Bliss," going through all the new cast members, talking about what a great show it was. And then, like a total dick, goes like, "Yeah, but Byron watched it. What a dork."
Yeah.
Like, well, you watch it as well, clearly, because you're just talking about how it's the best season so far, Corey.
Yeah, that was bad stuff from Corey.
You just
put that, you buried your own product that you just sold.
Yeah.
Which makes you uncredible and damages the product.
Yeah, grave mistake.
So the final bit here of the main event was Kevin Owens taking on Randy Orton. They had a pretty decent match.
I thought this was great.
Yeah,
I really like this.
No DQ match. Kendo sticks came out early. They brawled around the crowd, back in the ring, back in the crowd.
Loved the backdrops into the barricade stuff. I thought Kevin Owens selling was absolutely brilliant. And Randy Orton came across as someone who was legitimately mad at Kevin Owens, despite the fact he technically has no storyline reason to be mad. But he was genuinely angry at him, even with his little tufty hair. And he was just, I know I'm no person to really talk about hair, but he came out just like out the gates pissed. I thought Randy was great in this match, and I thought Kevin was great as well. I thought this was a pretty terrific main event.
They got the little hair thing like Cena going again.
Yeah.
It's a weird tufty hair that the WWE main eventers from yesteryear have to do.
Is he also getting ready to film a film?
Randy? He's done Marines in the past. I don't think he's going.
No, what was that one?
I just think he doesn't care.
What was the one he did with Ed Helms? Where it's like,
Oh, legendary.
Was
Is
it?
it legendary? I can't
remember. It's just like, goes, if you don't release the truth, I will.
But there was also a bit beforehand where one of the generic interviewers tried to get a word from Randy Orton backstage, and Randy Orton just walked past her.
Yeah.
Because he's angry. Yes, this is good. Near the end, Sami Zayn attacked Orton with a steel chair.
But he's banned from ringside.
He wasn't at ringside, as Corey Graves pointed out. It was on the entrance ramp. So if that isn't addressed, that's terrible. But I fully expect it to play into next week, where Shane will be angry. Sami Zayn interfered. We can fire them now, and Brian will be. He wasn't technically at ringside.
Yeah.
So that, you see both sides of the argument. Daniel Bryan is definitely on the healer side, but he's totally justified.
And also, Randy doesn't look bad in this loss to Kevin Owens because it was all built around his left leg. Owens' first bit of offense he got in was hitting Orton in the left leg with the kendo stick. Sami Zayn's attack with the chair was targeted on his leg, and then Owens clipped him on that leg.
That was
in the
a
ring.
brutal-looking clip.
Yeah, and then hit the frog splash for the win.
It was like an uppercut to the back of the leg.
I thought this was a really terrific story. I thought both guys were really good. I really enjoyed this.
I liked winning with a bullfrog splash as well.
Yeah.
I like it when people don't win with their finishes occasionally.
Yeah.
But at the end, I just felt like this, although I enjoyed the match and SmackDown did pick up, by the end of this match, I was a bit like...
Yeah,
it's a bit limp. There was no, I like a cliffhanger, and after last week's cliffhanger, I just thought it would have something more, but there wasn't. So who won Raw or SmackDown? Click the I above our heads to vote in the poll. Do you want to go first?
Because you went first last time. I think this is a pretty easy one. I thought Raw was a pretty pants and diabolical show, so I'm going with SmackDown this week.
I also thought Raw was pretty pants overall. I also thought SmackDown was pretty lackluster as well, actually. I gave it a low smack bang in the middle.
Wow, really? Wow!
Yeah.
Man, I would almost would gone almost smacktastic. Is that 4 out of 5?
That's 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
No, I won't go that high. But talking about it in retrospect, I feel like I enjoy it more now than I did when I was watching it. Maybe I just didn't appreciate a few things. But I do stand by a lot of the Shane McMahon stuff being terrible.
Yeah.
And just not ending... Although I like the match, I wanted something... I like cliffhangers. I just feel like SmackDown has no momentum if it doesn't have a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You want people to tune in next week. Would you tune in next week if you were a mainstream casual viewer?
Yeah, because...
Based on that one...
Because
based on the main event.
Oh, based on the main event. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, so that's my argument there. Anyway, that's all we've got time for today. So please click the timestamps that have appeared here now.
The timestamps?
No, sorry, the videos that have just appeared here. Look, Luke can see over the top of them now. To catch up with the latest WrestleRamble or WrestleTalk news, support this channel and subscribe here. Subscribe on the podcast medium and support WrestleTalk on Patreon or by ordering the magazine. This has been Luke Owen. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was Rambling.